the conversation of today is live how you want to be remembered when you die. And it's not about legacy. A lot of people want to have this legacy of people that don't know them, okay? They want to be remembered for certain things for eternity. That's impossible because you're not God. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't want to be remembered in a special way based on being good in your actions and living like a leader. Actions matter, okay? Little actions matter, specifically. And a lot of people, they don't think that they're going to die today or tomorrow. They live in this ego that they'll be the ones that make it to 80 or 90. They'll be the ones that make it at 70 even, whatever. They think that they'll live long enough to live old. That is not true for everyone watching this, which is actually pretty sad. I mean, it's not sad if you believe in God, but if you're not being through God, that's sad for you. You need to realize that the way you're moving right now, so you watching this video, if somebody saw you watching this video, you're remembered as somebody who watched YouTube, okay? So your little actions are how you're remembered, because this right now could be the last interaction you have before you die. So somebody watching this can go and get in their car after to go get food, and they die in a horrible car crash. That's the unfortunate reality of life, okay? So you need to prioritize your routine and the little moments you have with people and even yourself, okay? Because it all adds up to impact the world. Everything you do impacts the world. Butterfly effect on, the basic words, but when you actually analyze it, it actually is deep. And so you don't want to be the person who isn't leading others towards progress before you die. So that's where you need to take accountability into realizing what are better actions that you can take before you die. And so I mentioned in a previous video that action is better than inaction, which is correct. But even within action, you should be studying to learn what actions are better than others. So worshiping God, if you believe in God, I believe in God. That would be an action that you can lead people to is believing in God. That would be a great action. And then there's actions within that are purer than others. So what is the purest way to lead somebody to God? But not just that, if you don't believe in God or whatever, what are better ways to act morally, okay? What things can you do that benefit somebody else's life? And like in the littlest ways possible, okay? that could be benefiting somebody's health. That could be, I wrote this down actually later on, but I think I'll mention it now. I had a buddy who took his own life in 2018. And the last interaction I had with him, I gave him a hug, and I told him I'll see him tomorrow when we hang out. And I don't always give hugs to my friends, but for whatever reason that day I did. Maybe God allowed that to happen. But the next day he ended up shooting himself. And that last interaction is the main interaction I hold in my head, is the final interaction I have. And I don't regret the way I acted with him, okay? So adding on to that, the little moments you have with people you care about, make sure they're special for the both of you, okay? If somebody's in a down mood, be the person who puts your hand on their shoulder. And if you love somebody, never leave without saying, I love you when you say bye. Always say I love you to people you love before you leave them. Because it could be the last time you say something to them. And that will always stick with them more than anything else. Within the conversation before a bye, the things you say do resonate with somebody, and they can impact them for the best. So for me personally, I'm going to keep talking about God. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want. That's why I made this channel, the app. I believe that it's my duty to talk about God at some point in a conversation with somebody to show them that that is important to me, and I think that's what really matters in this life. You have to do the same thing. Not saying with God, but I think you should. But you have to do it with whatever you believe is best. That is how you'll be remembered. And so you need to say the things that you think will best impact them about whatever it is you truly believe in. So if you really believe something, you have a duty to vocalize that to the people in your life at some point in a conversation. And so if you don't even know what that is, you have some steps to do to get there. You need to focus on what you believe in so you can actually speak that substance to other people. And that kind of goes on to the point, one of the points I wrote down is don't bite your tongue and do not hold back. So my belief is that we learn a lot of God's lessons through other people. The way we interact, there are lessons being told every day in your storyline. So you, as a person, you are a catalyst for somebody else to learn something in their own life, okay? Whether you want to or not. So you cannot hold back when you feel something. And that doesn't mean like fucking be a weirdo. That means like, and that also goes with gradation of action that I talked about earlier. But that means that if you believe someone is doing something wrong and you believe you have the information that they could do something right, why would you hold back from possibly benefiting that person? So if you see somebody that does this thing too much or they act really disrespectfully, why are you going to bite your tongue? Because you are a catalyst for somebody else's progression. So never bite your tongue because you are benefiting the world in ways you don't even know yet. So if somebody's an asshole to multiple people on consecutive occasions and you notice that and you're this person's friend, you should call that shit out. Because if you call that out, you're saving a lot of people from negative emotions that could allow them to have a more peaceful day that will allow them, hopefully, more progression in their life. I want to go back on to another point. I kind of went on to something earlier where I mentioned that your time alone does have a ripple effect. And so a lot of people don't educate themselves. They don't think that it matters to learn more in your life. But the more you educate yourself on literally anything, the better intuition you have on interactions going forward. So for me, I've been studying Vedic literature in my free time. I've been trying to read more books, get more knowledge about where we came from and what is true purpose, why we're here, which I already believe with God, but also actions that lead towards that. And so the more I learn, I'm able to implement that into my interactions with people. That wouldn't just go for what I'm doing right now. That would go for if you do a sport, if you do like video editing, if you do anything you learn can be a benefit to people around you. So you need to treat your mind like a library and just bring knowledge inside of it. Gather information for it. It's like you're gathering a collection for a library that you're opening for other people. And the more you do that, the more doors will open for you and the more people will hold a different sentiment to you when you die. Because you put in the effort to make things special for them. So you have the ability to make things special for other people. And a lot of people don't believe that they have that ability, but everybody on this planet does. The final point I'll make is, 2 points I'll make is stop procrastinating things. So the hours you live right now truly matter. Every little moment you get matters and they add up to something. So you're free 2 hours, the 30 minutes you get on a lunch break, that matters. To some degree, at some way you can be benefiting yourself to benefit others. You can only save other people if you've saved yourself. The final point I want to make is enjoy the moment. So I mentioned this in the other video where people are thinking too much about the future or they're thinking about too much about the past. You need to fully live in the moment and not be worried about work the next morning. All those things, like how can you progress right now? Enjoy the moment. And if you're with your family, like always enjoy what's in front of you and don't be thinking about anything else. Okay. So you need to live fully in the moment. That is one of the ways you make something special again. And you don't live with regret, which is my final point. Do not live with regret. If you truly act with self-control, discipline, progression, and love of others, you cannot regret the life you lived when you die. that is, so many doors will open, and you will have felt like the bonds you created were fulfilled. You fulfilled the duties you had with the people in your life, the bonds you made. And so do not live with regret. And remember to live how you want to be remembered when you die.